Hi, I'm Lamar. This is Blue Haired Fitness, and today I'm going to teach you how to unlock the hidden power of your hunger hormones. If you're over 50, need to lose a massive amount of weight, like 50 pounds or more, this is the channel for you. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video. I am on a low carbohydrate, adequate protein and adequate fiber diet. That's how I eat. I don't even consider it a diet. It's my lifestyle choice. And I'm never hungry, and I've told you this before, but I decided to dig into the reasons for that. Now, I've read The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Eating, but I hadn't read it in a while, so I decided to go back in, do the research, and find out what was really going on. And what I discovered is there's 5 hormones that regulate my hunger and satiety, and they work in concert with what I do as a person that has a high volume walking foundation to ensure that I'm never hungry. One of them I've heard about. The other 4 were completely new and a mystery to me. So I'm going to get into what each of them do and how they work together and how my walking plan and foundation support my body fat loss. So let's start with ghrelin. It's produced in the stomach, and this one is the hunger hormone. So it's produced in the stomach, it's processed in the brain, and as you have increased levels of this is where you get increased levels of hunger. As we move down, you get leptin, which is produced in your fat cells. And as your fat cells secrete or produce more leptin, your level of satiety increases, which reduces that feeling of hunger. GLP-1, which you've probably heard of, also suppresses appetite by increasing that feeling of satiety. GLP-1 and the next 2 that I'm going to talk about are all produced in your gut. And all 3 of these hormones produce increased levels of satiety. They suppress hunger. PYY tells your gut to slow down its processing. PYY also signals satiety. It tells your gut to slow down, which keeps you feeling full. CCK slows gastric emptying, so food sits with you longer and you feel full. All of these work in concert to regulate your eating habits. And regulating your eating habits is basically satiating your hunger. Eating a low carbohydrate diet with adequate fiber indirectly supports the suppression of ghrelin. The protein in your diet suppresses hunger by indirectly supporting increased levels of GLP-1, PYY, and CCK. All of those in concert mean you can support a high caloric deficit without feeling hunger pain. And what happens when you combine this type of eating with a low carbohydrate diet? First, let's talk about what we always hear and what I've personally experienced, and that is you get on a diet and you lose a bunch of weight, hopefully body fat, and then you get off of that diet and you regain all that weight back, or you might even weigh more. Now you're starting to see why that happens. Let's just talk about my personal experience. I used low carbohydrate eating in the past as a diet choice, which means by its very definition, it was something I was going to do temporarily. So I had the benefit of all of these hormones acting in concert to help me lose body fat. And then once I got to the weight that I wanted to get to, I stopped eating low carbohydrate and went back to my high carbohydrate ways. Once I did that, all of the benefits that I had accrued flipped the other way. So my hunger increased. I had suppression of the satiety hormones. I had an increase in ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and then I started to eat more and more and more. And over time, that became a habit, and then that habit turned into excess body fat. The problem was I didn't treat it as a lifestyle choice, and I abandoned the process once I got to a goal. Now compare that to what I'm doing now, maintaining this as a lifestyle. I continue to get all of the benefits of hunger suppression through elevating these hormones. And I get that benefit regardless of the caloric deficit that I run. When I go from I'm trying to actively lose all of this excess body fat to I'm just maintaining the body composition I have, I will still be able to maintain all the same benefits of the appetite suppression. I'm not going to get to a point and change my eating and then lose all those benefits. So regardless of whether or not I have a high caloric deficit, a medium one, or a low one, eating this way supports appetite suppression. And appetite suppression supports me maintaining the body composition I want to have over time. I'm not going to have to continue to negotiate with myself as to what I should eat, and I'm certainly not going to have to start counting calories. There's a great podcast that I'll link in the description that goes into a detailed analysis of each of these hormones. One thing I will say as you listen to the episode, he talks about eating at regular intervals in order to mitigate the hunger signals. What that says to me is that person isn't fat adapted. Once you're fat adapted by eating a low carbohydrate diet, you do not have these hunger pains that show up at regular intervals because your body is already burning the fuel that it needs. So it doesn't necessarily need to prompt you to go eat at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or 11:30 or 1:30. Those things don't happen. I don't experience those things. As I've told you in a recent episode, I had to travel. It was a day trip. I was going to be going out in the morning, flying back in the afternoon. I didn't want to have to go to the bathroom in the airport or on the plane. So my flight was on a Monday. Sunday after my breakfast, which was 8 or 9ish, I didn't eat. And I fasted all the rest of Sunday, all through Monday. When I got back home, I think 9 o'clock Monday night, I decided to have a meal, but I could have just gone to bed. I didn't have any hunger pains throughout that entire journey. Take everything he says to be factual and honest, but understand that you don't have to deal with the idea of eating at regular intervals. That is more of a lifestyle choice for someone who's not eating a low carbohydrate diet, because I can tell you from my personal experience, I don't have those problems. I firmly believe that fat loss does not have to be complicated, and it certainly doesn't have to be hard. I had to develop a process or discover a process so that the hormones worked with me, so I didn't have to count calories and I didn't have to feel hungry. And that's what I do. I put the hormones on my side that do the work of the thing I want done. I want appetite suppression, so I eat in a way and exercise in a way that elevates the hormones to do the thing I need them to do, which is suppress my appetite so that I can keep on moving. Speaking of walking, there's a 2012 research study that showed a 60-minute walk didn't produce appreciable increases in ghrelin, PYY, or GLP-1. And despite that, the people who did the 60-minute walk found their appetite suppressed as compared to the control group. What the researchers deduced from this is there was an effect of appetite suppression, even though there wasn't a detectable acute spike in GLP-1. So in my walking system, the hormone effect isn't coming from a single large event. The mechanism that works in my favor is creating a large daily caloric deficit combined with low carb eating. This keeps my ghrelin from spiking up and supports elevated levels of leptin, CCK, PYY, and GLP-1. Walking is the deficit generator, and my eating is the hormone support system. In final summary, ghrelin is produced in the stomach. It's the hunger hormone. As it goes up, your hunger increases. Leptin, produced in fat cells. As it goes up, you feel less hunger, as will all the rest of these hormones do the same. The rest of them being GLP-1, PYY, CCK. Having adequate fiber in your diet assists in your gut feeling full, and protein indirectly suppresses ghrelin by supporting PYY, CCK, and GLP-1. All of this stuff works in your favor to accelerate your fat loss. And if you make it a lifestyle, it will work for you over the course of your life. If you use it to get to a goal weight and then abandon the process, you can still maintain your body composition and your goal weight, but you're going to have to do it a different way. Probably will start experiencing hunger pains. So it's just something that you have to monitor if you decide to make it a temporary choice. I'm already down 2 pant sizes. If you want a personalized plan built specifically for you that looks at what you want to accomplish, what your goals are, how soon you want to get them, what challenges you have, click the link below, and I will work with you to build a personalized plan to get you from where you are to where you want to be. This is Lamar from Blue Haired Fitness. If you want your personalized plan, click the link below.